Alrighty. How are we doing? Oh, I need to clean my glasses. Sorry. I was, Streamlabs decided they wanted to, update. Or need an update. So, that took like a minute. So, I apologize for being just like a little bit late. But yeah. I hope y'all are doing good. Let's see. Bada bing. Bada boom. Alright. Should be all good. The volume may be a little bit low. There we go. Alright. Cool. But yeah. So, it has been a fat minute since we have, done some, Higurashi. And I apologize. I mean, yeah. As y'all probably know, my sleep's all fucked up lately, but like this morning, I couldn't stream. I woke up at like 4, and then like an hour before stream, I ended up fucking falling asleep again for like a couple hours, but yeah. I need to switch batteries. Hold on. I wish I could be more organized and shit, but when you're mentally not doing well, it's not great. What's up, Friedel? How you doing? Alright. Time to get back into some Higurashi. Visit, oh shit, hold on. I forgot to change the title. Fuck. There we go, come back to hearing this out. Because it's been a minute. It has been a minute. Alrighty. Shit. What do I remember from happening? I can't remember. I think I had to cut the last stream short for that we did, Higurashi. Can't remember if that was because of sleep problems too. Or what. But. Oh, no, not okay. Continue. Did we do the tips? Nope. I still need to get the average viewers up. I'm still at like 1.66, I think. I need to get it to 3. The problem is, it'll probably take a little bit because, you know, I need to get the average 3 viewers, and I've streamed for like, and it goes for like the past 30 days through a certain period. And I think every week it shifts a week or something. I'm not entirely sure how it works. But considering I, you know, stream quite a bit, that out of like 100 hours I've streamed within the last 30 days, the average viewership needs to go up. So I mean, as long as I keep getting good views, like consistent views now, give it probably a little bit longer, and I probably got it. So yeah. So, I mean, hey, try and get me affiliate. You gotta keep watching, you know? You feel? But yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and do the tips. Because I can't remember if we did them last time or not. Okay, yeah, we did. But you know what? For memory's sake, if you're on YouTube, you can just skip ahead. But I'm redoing them real fast. Redo them. Jog my poor ass memory. Alright. The Sonozaki family. The one to drastically expand its influence after the war was the Sonozaki family. Hey, what's up, Ethan? What's up? I do remember that we did these tips before, but it has been a fat minute since we played Higurashi, so I'm just doing it as like a quick jog. So I don't know if you were here last time we did it, but if not, there's some more info for you. But the leader at the time was Oryo Sonozaki, who still has the seat today. Oryo Sonozaki has grown old, and today you can only catch a glimpse of her, of who she was at the time. From what I've been told, however, she was a leader extolled as the best in history. Having become so old, aside from going out a few times a week for lessons, she spends her time at home in solitude, and seems to leave most of the ceremonial affairs to her heir, Mion. There are different views on why the successor was not her daughter, but her granddaughter, Mion. But it's rumored that it has to do with disownment of her daughter and son-in-law. Hey, what's up? What's up? How you doing? That uninhabited granddaughter, Mion Sonozaki, still shows no signs of the dignity required of the next leader. However, she does have Sonozaki blood in her veins and is permitted the name of Demon. She still doubtlessly requires caution, and is probably hiding her fangs and claws, as skillfully as the leaders of the past did. Cool. Alright. Next tip, let's go. Yes, the postal worker hasn't seen anything either. The Sonozaki main house has their seal hanging from the mailbox, so anyone can stamp their mail or parcels with it and drop it in. That's rather careless of them. So, when was she last seen? She was last seen at the Watanagashi opening ceremony greetings. She apparently returned home right after that. Oh, she is pretty old. From what I've heard, she goes out a few times a week to take lessons, right? Have you found anything out about that? Every Monday she goes to the assembly hall to practice the Taishogoto, or Taishugoto, but she didn't go this week. Any calls to say she wasn't going to be there? Has anyone confirmed it? Nope, nobody. She apparently takes days off once in a while though, so no one thought it was strange. Tomorrow, why don't we pretend we're the town hall and call around 10 o'clock? Please figure out whether she's at home. 10 o'clock? Got it. Ever since it started to seem more and more like ancient Hinamizawa traditions had something to do with all this, he'd been keeping a careful eye on the three families. At this point, the leader of the Kimiyoshi family and the leader of the Furude family had disappeared. There was only one leader left, Oryo Sonozaki, the leader of the Sonozaki family. She was apparently a pretty old woman. Her dignity hasn't waned, but she still only appeared before people rarely, so it was difficult to confirm where she was at any given time. She, the last leader, hadn't been seen since the day of Watanagashi. Was she still alive and well within the Sonozaki main house? Or had she... According to Mion Sonozaki, she had fallen ill and was sleeping it off. I wonder if she really is sleeping. I'd like to take a look at her face and her pulse. You can say that again. The two of them breathed out a big puff of cigarette smoke. Oishi-san, about the search warrants for the Sonozaki main house and the Furude shrine. Do you think we'll get them? Oishi didn't respond. Exhaled another cloud of tobacco smoke, and his surroundings now as foggy as his mind. Ooh, they're trying to get the search warrant, seems like. The hidden demon. The inhabitants of Hinamizawa believe that blood of demons flow in their blood. As such, the character demon Oni is treated as very sacred. For example, usage of the character Oni in names is apparently a right reserved for only the leaders of the Kimiyoshi and Sonozaki families. Case in point, we can see it in the current Sonozaki family leader's name, Oryo. It is written with the character... I don't know that character yet. This and only this is proof that she is a legitimate leader of the Sonozaki family. In the same way, Mion Sonozaki is its successor, contains Oni in her name, with Mi being written as... yeah, I don't know that character either. It also goes for Oryo's daughter and Mion's mother, Akane, who did not succeed her. It's known that before the disowning, Akane's name was actually written as that, although it was changed afterwards to that character, still read as Akane. Yeah, I know very, very few kanji, so, you know. Incidentally, it's thought that the first character, the Mayor Kiichiro, Oh, fair. Incidentally, it's thought that the first character of the mayor's Kichiro's name, that originally meant demon, which can also be read as Ki. It should be said that the names used during using the characters only aren't limited only to successors of the Sonozaki family. You can even find it in the last names of the three families. For example, the character for Kimiyoshi are likely a split-up version of Oni if you write it in reverse and top to bottom as, yeah, that. It clearly resembles the character Oni. Yeah, I can see it. As for the Furude family, who have been in the Shinto priesthood for generations, the word fortune teller can be written with interval characters such as, yeah, those. I think that with the addition of a demon's horn, the tick on top of the character only, became the, that is used in their name now. Sorry, I don't know kanji. It's always a pain in the ass to learn. I mean, I've probably got a few, but yeah. As I was saying just a little bit ago, just need to get that average watch time or viewers up. So, you know. Yeah. In the case of the Sonozaki family, where Sonozaki is written like that, I can't find any reference to the character Oni. Perhaps it's because it's already ingrained into their first names. They were the clan responsible for running the Watanagashi ceremony, so I think that instead, they included the contents of the ceremony into their last name. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. The Zaki and Sonozaki is a conjugation of the word for slice, and the sono, written as that, probably contains the hidden meaning of human body, as it is a complicated mess, organs, enclosed by 4 sides. Yeah, I also just help with, I just suck with fucking self-promotion. Like, I know I need to be fucking shameless and shit, but it's like, 1, I forget about it, and 2, I forget about it. Like, if I remember to, I probably could, but it's just like, I gotta remember to. You feel? So speaking of which, if you're watching here on Twitch or if you're watching on YouTube, if you haven't already, give me a follow. What have you. Try to watch as much as you can. Maybe I should start doing like what fucking Technoblade does and like set a sellout timer. And like for a set amount of time or something. And whenever it goes off, just go full sellout mode. So I kind of like the idea of that, and it's like, you know, my fucking poor ass memory. It'd definitely help, probably. You never know. I think, in other words, that Sonozaki comes from those who slice open the gut. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Sure, I fucking may do that. I may do that. Put it probably, not put it like the highest, but probably like a decent sized number. Because, like, probably in conjunction with that and maybe a timer. Oh, maybe I could set it to where, like, change the Nightbot message of the Discord to go, like, every 30 minutes or something like that. And when that pops up, have that as, like, the my timer. And then, like, people can have me do it whenever. Or, like, maybe, like, once an hour, because technically I do be streaming, like, 3 hours, so you never know. Yeah. I got ideas. Request denied. Ooh. I'm back. How did it go? Did you find any clues? Nah. I'm not that bad. Not that bad. The officers shook their head in disappointment. Talk about spam. Yeah. I have it every second. Eventually unable to actually read like what anybody says in chat because it's just Discord link after Discord link after Discord link. uh, the officers shook their head in disappointment. Exhaustion was plainly showing on everyone's face. That was only natural. None of them had gotten a wink of sleep since the day of Watanagashi. Chief, let the youngest of us take a nap, and then switch them out. We've got a long stretch ahead of us after all. Let's not push ourselves too hard. Rest up so we can take it easy as we go. Every millisecond. I've been telling them to sleep in shifts. Nobody actually seems willing to sleep, though. Could you tell them yourself, Oishi-san? Sorry, taking a drink. Oh my. You don't need to force yourselves. Kamiyama-kun. Please let everyone sleep in shifts, starting with the youngest. Kamiyama-san. Please do that. After the chief told him as well, Kamiyama-san left his seat. So, Chief. Still no good on your request? Or our request, whatever. It's just a rumor among the villagers in the first place, you know? It's going to be difficult without more concrete evidence. Even when that evidence might be tucked away in there? We need evidence that evidence is tucked away in there. Chief, don't start speaking in riddles to me now. We have witnesses say that 4 people, including the 2 who died, went into the forbidden ritual storehouse without permission. This is all reliable information. You might call it information, but they're really only rumors. They're no concrete evidence. Well, that's true. It's true that we don't have any pictures of the 4 of them sneaking in with cloth tied around their heads. Exactly. Anyway, those 4 saw something inside that storehouse. Something important enough that they'd be erased. And important enough that they'd be erased? What would that be exactly? That's why I'm asking for a warrant to go looking in for the first place. Fuck hiccups. Anything pointing out the Sonozaki family's connections to violent organizations would be a major contender. Like a pile of Tagarevs, or a secret poppy production facility. The secret Sonozaki family fortune would also be pretty difficult to discard. Look, Oishi-san, I know how you feel. However, that storehouse is a sacred building belonging to the Furude Shrine. We need to have proper consideration for the locals when dealing with it. I heard that there was an hour-long call made from the Congressman Sonozaki to the big man. Chief, could he have nailed you back down? Anyway, as long as we don't have suitable evidence, we won't get a search warrant for the storehouse. That goes for the Sonozaki main house too, especially considering that that's the jurisdiction of both Section 4 and the Prefectural Police's Crime Prevention Division. Fuck, that was a mouthful. We need careful preparations first. If you say you need preparations, then why don't you just let me talk with them directly? Shika-chan is the lead of Section 4, right? For crime prevention, it's Yamaumi-san. Fuck that name. Sorry, Yamaumi, but you know, Yamaumi. Yeah, fuck. 2 vowels like that close together. It fucks me. They seem like they'd be quicker to talk if I sat them down at a Mahjong table. Mahjong table? That word. I can never say it right. As y'all know, my pronunciation is utter shit. Chief, you have a visitor. Yikes. Pushing the employee who guided him Pushing the employee who guided them in right out of the way was the old man who looked like a Yakuza member, giving his crested kimono and hakama. Did he not get enough of this over the phone? I am Congressman Sonozaki. I demand to know who's responsible for this. This instant. Hello. I am the division chief, Takatsuki. I don't need your name. I could have you demoted on a whim. You wouldn't even be enough. Bring out the one called Oishi or whatever. He deserves punishment for requesting a search warrant on the sacred foot of the shrine. I sincerely apologize. Oishi-san is currently out on an investigation. He's been difficult to contact. I'll take his place and hear you out. So please, have a seat. The chief's eyes were telling me to get out of here. Perhaps I'll gratefully accept his favor. Maybe I'll lay down in the nap room. Listen here, the fruit of this shrine spent 2,600 years under the imperial calendar, 2,500 more beyond that. It is sacred, a sanctuary that must never be defiled. The 800,000 gods, Oyashiro-sama, and the spirits of our ancestors are enshrined there. The holy shrine protects Hiramizawa from when the sun comes up to when it sets, and from when the moon rises to when it falls. Who is the idiot who wanted to set foot in there? Besides, the right to religion is the most revered right of the people of this country and the Constitution. You dare be so bold to sully that with your own investigations and negligence as pretext? I will not allow it. Are you listening? Are you lying scum? I'm angry now, so you're not getting off the hook that easily. Hopefully I didn't ruin all y'all's ears with that. That was fun. But he seems pissed. Alright, let's go. Back into it. Back into Hinamizawa. I saw a ceiling I was familiar with. Though I was groggy from sleep, I did notice that I was in my futon, like I was every morning. I looked at my clock, and despite having turned in so late last night, I had woken up precisely the same moment I always did. I'm so low on sleep, but I guess you really can get up at the same time every day. Listen here, I got major sleep problems. That's not always the case, my guy. The secrets of the human body never cease to amaze me. Although I guess if like you've been doing it for long, I guess I've never had a consistent enough sleep schedule to know, but yeah. If I went back to sleep like this, I would definitely not be waking up again. I spurred myself on and slipped out of my futon. Mom asked me about last night at breakfast. Apparently we too had gotten a call asking if we knew where Rika-chan and Satoko were. And Mom vaguely understood that something serious was happening. Oh shit, that's right, we were still, okay, yeah. The previous night we were still looking for him. So then, you were out late last night with all your friends looking for them? Until about 3, I think. Yeah. Did you find them? Rika-chan and Satoko-chan, I mean. Crunch. I warily bit into my toast. It really didn't have any taste. Ding dong. Just then we heard the chime go ding dong. Yeah. I looked up at this clock and saw that it was only 5 minutes past my regular meeting time with Ordena. It was her at the door. Good morning. Did you get any sleep? Did you? I think I slept for a few hours. You could probably count them on chicken toes, though. Ordena seemed pretty sleep deprived as well. There was something missing from her usual spirit. Are you going to school? Yeah. I think it would be better that way. She said, smiling, albeit stiffly. Oh, I read them the exact reverse for the people. Oh, whoops. Rina was probably worrying her heart out about those two as well. Even so, she wanted to go to school. If you stay home today, I think you'd just be worrying nonstop and sleeping. I don't want that. So let's go to school together. Alright. Wait just a moment. I'll get ready. I was just a little bit happy about Rodina mustering that much consideration for me. Words. Aha! Talk about a flashbang. We went to the place where we'd usually meet up with Mion, but she was nowhere to be found. We were a little bit late today, so we thought she'd be waiting for us. I guess Mi-chan couldn't wake up today, huh? Yeah, that's right. For her, it wasn't just yesterday. She was up all night looking for the mayor the night before last, too. We waited for a bit. Time passed until it got to the point where it was okay for us to go on alone. And we exchanged glances. What do we do? Wait a little longer? At that point, my brain, which had finally been woken up by the morning air, recalled the ominous words Oishi-san had left me with last night. The leader of the three families were disappearing one after the other. And next, it might be the Sonozaki's leader. Could Mion have... No, that couldn't be. Let's go. Let her sleep for today. Then they gave me a pat on the back. Mion, she's still here, right? Did you say something? Nothing. Just talking to myself. Let's get moving. The two of us headed to school by ourselves. On the way, we saw a bunch of our classmates accompanied by their parents. It even looked like some of them were being taken to school by a car. Ooh, fancy. Surprisingly, the principal was also standing watch at the school gate. I'd never seen that before. Good morning. Good morning. The principal was bowing to our classmates' guardians. The wooden sword leaning next to him was a little ominous. Maribara-kun, good morning. Gugu-san, good morning. Or kun, whatever. Good morning. Your teacher has something important to say, so head straight to the classroom. Alright? Red and I said nothing. The madness that only existed at night had finally crawled out into the sunlight. That's what it felt like. Ooh. Good morning, everyone. The hushed conversations that had been spreading for a while now all disappeared like an illusion the moment our teacher walked in the door. Silence dominated the classroom. The principal came in with our teacher as well. This was clearly not a normal morning. First, the principal has something important to tell everyone. Go ahead, Mr. Principal. The principal cleared his throat and approached the dais? I'm guessing that's like a podium of some kind? Or whatever, I don't know. I'm sure some of you already know this. The classroom was dead silent. Everyone was staring at Rika-chan's and Satoko's empty desks or seats. Or, hey, what's up, how you doing? I like your username. The principal briefly and simply declared that Rika-chan and Satoko had gone missing. There wasn't a single person in the classroom who didn't already know. There seemed to be many, however, who couldn't accept it as the truth. It had been confirmed to them now by the principal's words. Oh yes, plenty of times. And I'm currently rewatching it again with because I'm getting a friend into it. Friedel, actually. I'm making him watch it with me. We've just started the second season. There were sobs throughout the classroom. I heard a kid crying. They steadily spread throughout the whole room. Hey, thank you. The big-hearted principal wasn't able to keep his cool either. Okay, everyone, pay attention. From today on, your parents or guardians will be taking you to school. For those of you whose parents can't do so, you'll be coming here in groups. I made a handout, so read it carefully and be sure to show it to your parents. Understand? The teacher's voice was a little abrasive. Not even she could conceal the strain she felt. Oh, I thought that was the principal, so I kind of went with the stronger, deep voice. Oh, well. Not even she could conceal the strain she felt from the unprecedented abnormal situation. They should have just canceled school today. However, Lena told me that the school was also like a nursery for the students whose parents both worked, so some of them wouldn't want school to be canceled. Yeah, yeah. I like my girl Shinobu. I, or Kishada Settlera Orion Hot Underbraid. You know. She's my probably like top like waifu, #1 waifu. And then and specifically from Monogatari, Senjuka Haruto is closely followed behind. I mean, #1 for me is Kishshot / Shinobu. #2 Senjo, and then basically everybody else ties for third. But yeah, and then we all know there's no debating, there's no fighting against Kaiki as best girl. Yeah, his fucking theme though, I love it. Anyways, back onto the seriousness. That is this. Well then, let's begin the lesson. Class president, she's absent, I see. Then whoever's on day duty, let me hear it. All rise. That feeling of wanting to maintain an everyday atmosphere, even if only in school, precisely because our lives had been messed up, was something I agreed with at this point. Yeah, sure. I mean, you do have to hand it to him. That toothbrush scene's pretty fucking iconic. But yeah. As for the teacher who always had her lunch in the staff lounge, she ate at the classroom today, or in the classroom, sorry. I had to laugh at her curry bento, which was just a rumor until now, but there was nobody to laugh with me. Rena brought her chair and lunch over to my seat. Today it was just the two of us. The fact that we didn't need to drag any of the desks over was sad. Yeah, we lost the lollies. I'm honestly very sad. We don't have the lollies. We don't have the lolly duo. It sucks. I'm sleepy. Yeah. I don't feel like sleeping anymore, though. In fact, I'm jealous of the people that could sleep at a time like this. They've got nerves of steel. You're right. I was sleepy this morning, but my drowsiness had dissipated after coming to school and constantly feeling the incredible tension. Rena's bento box didn't have its usual luster. I mean, that was to be expected. Rena was up for a long time last night as well. Or 2. Same fucking thing. She wouldn't have had the time to make her lunch beforehand, since it's not really like she would have gotten up early this morning. Grab anything you want. Go ahead. You can admit that my bento is better today. Oh, that was us. Fuck. Okay, then I'll have some. Wow. Chikawaro? A roll. Chikuwaro. With, perilla and cheese? That's interesting. But, yours might have ready-made food in it, but it's pretty good too. I realized the two of us were desperately trying to brighten the afternoon mood to its usual levels as much as we could. I looked around the classroom, and it seemed like we were the only ones trying to do so, surrounded as we were by gloominess. Just the two of us sharing our lunches like this, it's sort of, well... Sort of like something. Our laughter grew quieter. It was the first one to. I was the first one to mess up. Sorry. I mean, well, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. It, it's not your fault. Our chopsticks both stopped moving. We couldn't keep it up anymore. Rika, Satoko. I wonder where they went. Those words might have sounded too miserable. Everyone was thinking it, using roundabout ways to address the topic, but I came out right and said it. That was us. What a fuck. I wish they had like some way of notifying you who was speaking, so I could do the correct voices, the way of speaking. But it's whatever. I heard Dana catch her breath. Yesterday, while you were gone, I heard a bunch of things. So I'll tell you what I know, okay? Sorry again about last night. Go ahead. At that time, since they had arrived for support, Dana was helping the Lady Society cook the miso soup we'd had. They reported all of the information the villagers had gathered, and Dana said she overheard it. They didn't know anything important, though, did they? Rika-chan and Satoko went home after school, and then apparently went somewhere on their bikes, but other than that... Mion had told me yesterday. We had no clues. Yeah. The police also said that they probably went out on their bikes to go play somewhere as soon as they got home. If they were going out to play somewhere on their bikes right after getting home, then they might have gone into town. So I guess they concluded they disappeared while in Okinomiya. The police were saying how they were going to expand their search to Okinomiya in the morning. Ooh. In town. It makes sense why we couldn't find them even though we'd searched all of Hinamizawa then. Still, something didn't fit. I had no basis for thinking that. Just a gut feeling. I revealed something to Rika-chan that was likely very important to her that day. Then Rika-chan had told me to leave it to her. And then, what did she say? Oh, right. If she didn't work hard, then something bad might happen to the dog too, I think. With all the talk of dogs and cats, I still didn't have the faintest idea what she really meant, but it might have been Rika-chan's way of saying this was a race against time. Damn it. I'd selfishly pushed my anxieties on Rika-chan and tried to run away. When I thought about it, I shouldn't have run back then. I should have asked her more. About the dogs and cats. The more I think back on it, I really screwed up. Anyway, I don't think Rika-chan was in a situation where she could have just go off to play somewhere. Of course, I didn't have any evidence or conviction to base that on. It was just a hunch. I don't think she'd go into town. You think so too, Keiichi-kun? I agree. Rika-chan and Satoko-chan must have disappeared in Hinamizawa. I looked back at Rina startled. I could hear the conviction in those words. Without replying to my gaze, she took her bento box and went to the hallway. Ooh. I'm going to go rinse this out. She timed that in a way that broke off the conversation. Suddenly I got the feeling that the next thing she had to say would be hard to say aloud in the classroom. Alright, I'm gonna change my seating real fast. Okay. Oh, good. I hurriedly grabbed my bento box and followed her. Then again, didn't go to the kitchenette, but rather to the water fountains out back, where students seldom went. The water flowed down into our bento boxes. During that time, Rena didn't say a word. Then, after making sure there were no other students around, she finally opened her mouth to speak. The whole thing about Rika-chan and Satoko-chan going to town to play, and then disappearing. That didn't make any sense for some reason. So I decided to investigate a little bit myself. Who did you ask? What did you ask them about? I asked the Ladies' Society all kinds of things. There was a lot of tofu in the miso soup yesterday, I remember. The old lady from the Tomita tofu shop came too. The Tomita tofu shop. Oh, I remember. That was one of the stores on the road leading to the hospital. Those huge lumps of tofu dancing in the bathtub like cistern always looked nice and refreshing. The old lady says she remembers Satoko-chan stopping to buy tofu there on her way home from school. Tofu? Well, it's on the way home, right? How is that a clue? Just listen. Do you remember when we went to Rika-chan's house? Then stepped away from the sinks and spread her arms wide to recreate the space of Rika-chan's room. There was a pot on her gas cooker, and there was miso soup in it. I think there was probably about half of it inside. The rest was in the refrigerator. They must have been planning to make chilled tofu. It was on a plate in a plastic wrap. As Rina explained, she walked around as if were already going through Rika-chan's room. Still, Rina, why does this matter? Keiichi-kun, when you make miso soup, you put the tofu in last. That means Rika-chan or Satoko-chan, whoever was cooking, was standing there making it up until right before dinner time. Or right up until dinner time? Wasn't everyone saying that their bikes weren't around, so they must have gone somewhere to play by themselves? The trash in the countertop bin was put in there really awkwardly too. Rika-chan makes most of their food and lunches, but occasionally Satoko-chan does it too. So Satoko-chan was cooking that night. So that means that Satoko at least didn't go somewhere to play? She was preparing dinner? Yeah. Then I took a look at the rice cooker and there was rice for two still in there. So she made dinner for both of them, but neither of them ate it? Is that it? Rena nodded. Ooh, okay. So, next I looked in the fridge. There was some chilled tofu made from the other half that they had bought. That's not all either. There were a whole bunch of plates with side dishes for dinner, and all of them were in plastic wrap. You usually plastic wrap things so that you can have leftovers for the next day. My mom does that all the time too, using them in breakfast and lunch. That's right. You use plastic wrap to save leftovers for later. Fuck hiccups. Fuck hiccups, goddamn. So, the fact that they were in the fridge means that they didn't plan on eating them at night, or that night at least. Is that what it means? Ooh. Keiichi-kun, think a little harder. Their dinner was totally untouched and wrapped up. What do you think that means? Well, that means they didn't need to eat dinner anymore? So that they would have gone out to eat or ordered takeout? It must have been really sudden, too. If they had decided to do that beforehand, they wouldn't have made anything, but there was dinner for the two of them. That means that when Satoko-chan was making their dinner, they really thought that they were going to eat it until right before they didn't. Uh, so then the theory about the two of them going out to play and then disappearing is wrong. Yep. They disappeared after making dinner and right before they ate it. Probably around 7 o'clock. Where would they have gone at a time like that by themselves without eating? That's obviously where this is leading. Keiichi-kun, do you remember? On their fold-out table, there were things like soy sauce and a chopstick holder. There might have been something like that. I didn't remember. The container for the soy sauce. It was empty. There wasn't even a drop left. Chilled tofu wouldn't taste good without it. So I looked under their sink for the larger bottle of soy sauce they have. Hey, you sure know a lot about where to keep stuff. I've been to Rika-chan's house and cooked for them before. Then it cleared her throat, her face returning to a serious expression. Then, when I opened the cabinet, the big bottle of soy sauce wasn't there at all. It wasn't there? What does that mean? Everything I'm going to say from here on is just Redena's idea. So, please listen until the end without saying anything. Okay. Are y'all ready? Theory time. Let's see what she thinks happened. Last night, Satoko was making dinner like normal. Rika-chan usually watched TV until the food was ready, so she was probably lying down watching a variety show or something. This bitch is nuts. Satoko put the tofu in the miso soup, and right when dinner was about to be ready, she noticed that they were out of soy sauce. So Rika-chan, who had nothing to do, brought the big bottle of soy sauce to a neighbor's house to borrow theirs. Are you new to Higurashi, by chance? I'm just curious. I don't really know my neighbors that well. Would people be willing to give her... Or, I don't really know my neighbors that well. Would people be willing to just give her soy sauce? Yeah. It's not all that uncommon in Hinamizawa. So, Rika-chan rode her bike out to get some soy sauce. No matter how long Satoko-chan waited, though, Rika-chan didn't come back. So then Satoko-chan called up the house where Rika-chan was going. Would Rika happen to be imposing on you? Something like that. Then the other person must have replied with something like this. We have plenty of food here, so you should come too, Satoko-chan. Rika-chan has already eaten. I think that's how they called her out there. Or, I think that's how they called her out there. Well, it's also an anime as well. I think the original anime came out 2006, I think. Then there was a sequel that recently came out last year. Satoko called Rika a few names in private, and then wrapped up the dinner she had made for them. She put them in the fridge so she could use it for breakfast and lunch the next day. Then Satoko got on her bike too, and headed for the house where Rika-chan was. Also, by the way, this is the second game in the series out of like 8, I believe. So, you know, sell out real fast. You can always go back through my Twitch or on my YouTube and watch the all the other playthroughs. Oh, are you one of those people that won't watch an anime because of the art style? Huh? Okay, but this is already pretty strange. You don't normally make so much food that you can give it to people who suddenly arrive at your house. A veteran housewife would never normally make so much food that she could leave or could feed 2 extra people. Could it have just been a coincidence that they had made too much? Oh, I mean, I personally highly recommend it. Although, now that I've played at least like the first game and then on here, I do notice just how much they had like cut out of the games for the anime. Like for reference, the first 4 episodes is the first game, and like it was like 16 hours or so of the game, versus like what 2 hours max for like the first like in the anime. So I mean, when I watched the anime, it was no problem. It was all perfectly fine, but it was just like it was just interesting of just how much more there was in the games. So, but I mean, I highly recommend that you watch it, if only for the fact for, I mean, the music and stuff in the game is fucking great, but I know for a fact my voice acting is not that great. But like in the anime, if you do not watch it dubbed, the dub is horrible. But watch it subbed. If like, since you watched the Monogatari series, I'm going to guess you're good with subs. But yeah. So watch it subbed, and like the voice acting is fucking phenomenal. I mean, just in general, the anime is great. But yeah. Okay, I mean, nowadays dub isn't like the worst. Like it's not as bad as it used to be back in the day, but I mean, I personally prefer uh subbed, but I'm not going to like hate on people who watch dubbed. I mean, my little brother, for fuck's sake, like primarily only watches dubbed. But yeah, but it's just, and I get it as well, but it's also like watching in subs helped me kind of with my dyslexia, like get me back up to like my normal reading, to like an average or to a good reading pace again, because I used to be a crazy fast reader, but so now I think I'm okay. But at least when I'm not trying to speak it out loud. But yeah, I mean, you're welcome to either play it on your own or go back and watch my playthrough of it. But I also recommend at least checking out the anime. But yeah, I mean, there are definitely standout anime with like the dub at the very least rivals the sub. Like for me, like Naruto's like its dub is great. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, its dub is great. I haven't watched Cowboy Bebop, but I heard its dub is great. Same with Picano, and there's like plenty of others out there. Like the dubs are like great, but actually, I heard for Cowboy Bebop that the dub is actually better than the sub. I think, at least that's what I recall. But yeah. Anyway, could it have been just a coincidence that they made too much? It's still unthinkable. Rina flatly denied me. Since Rika-chan knew that Satoko-chan had worked really hard to make dinner for them, didn't she? No matter what kind of food she was offered, she wouldn't let Satoko-chan's dinner go to waste. This was all circumstantial evidence and Rina's guesswork. Even so, it was all extremely convincing. It was the only ray of hope we had to topple this situation bereft of clues. That's a new word. I just like playing this game. Like, I like playing visual novels because I learned so many new names or words. Hey, sellout time! Let's go! Go subscribe to my YouTube. Follow. Gotta work on how to be shameless, selfless shit. But Y'all get it. Y'all get it. Then where did Rika-chan go to get the soy sauce? That was the heart of it. It would have to be somewhere she'd be comfortable with asking for some soy sauce, and somewhere Satoko wouldn't think it suspicious that she'd been invited for dinner. No, exactly. And sister, by the way. But yeah, no, I feel ya. It's just yeah, it's probably gonna take some practice. Cause I mean, for some stuff I've got no shame, but in like other parts, the anxiety's still way too high. So, and like awkwardness, but you know, I'll learn. I'll learn the shameless way of self promotion. So who was it? Then I slowly shook her head. That's all for Rena's guesses. These are all just ideas, okay? Keep them a secret from the police. What is there to hide? Even if only half of what you said is right, it should be a good clue for this. Keiichi-kun. This all means suspecting someone from Hinamizawa. We can't suspect anyone without a really good reason. I mean, she's true. True. I saw a few girls coming over to rinse out their bento boxes. Then I cut the conversation short there and returned to the classroom. I stayed there alone, my body bathed in the lively voices of the cicadas. Let's think about this, in my own way. Rena had barely any information to go on, and yet she'd reasoned out that much. So there should be something that only I, who knew far more than Rena did, could deduce. That's... Oh... That's the defense you're gonna bring out for that? That's the defense you're bringing out for dubs, huh? Okay. Okay. Just gonna let that one sit there. Just let that sit there. Anyways. Oishi-san said this last night too, but the incident was definitely occurring within Hinamizawa. Then it might not have wanted to believe it, but it's basically a given that the culprit is someone from the village. Devilman dub? I didn't watch that. I watched Devilman Crybaby in the sub, so I don't know. As I said, I personally prefer the subs, so I rarely, if ever, actually like even watch it in the dub. But yeah. See, yeah, same. I mean, it's like, fuck, what is it right now that I'm watching dubbed? I'm watching Yu Yu Hakusho dubbed. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Got no problems with it. I like it. But yeah. I mean, it's just like nowadays, dub is just like, it's just average. Like, it's good. Like, there's no more, like, the big problem of like localization isn't like too big of a deal, because that's what the big problem used to be, was like the dialogue was like always like really badly changed. Like, take the whole issue of like the voice acting aside, but like that was also the old problem too, was like the horrible localization that they do to like the dialogue, like through the translations and stuff. But yeah, they're not. Yeah, but it's just like the in my mind, at least to me, that it's just like that's basically how they all are. Like there's no really standout ones. Like at least because I mean back then it was either great or it was like horrible. But now it's like basically all average. Like you may have like a good one here and there. Yeah. I think I've seen a clip of that before. Oh my god. But yeah. Anyways, the trigger for everything was when the four of us trespassed in the forbidden storehouse. Somebody saw us go in there. For the culprits, breaking the taboo was a crime punishable by death. So that night, Tomitake-san and Takano-san were sacrificed. There were two left. Shion and myself. Yeah. However, before the culprits bore their fangs on Shion and me, they went after the mayor and to whom Shion had confessed her sin. Next, they went for Rika-chan, to whom I had confessed my sin. Then, what about Satoko? Just a stray bullet? By itself, Rika-chan being sacrificed after I had told her everything was mortifying. But Satoko, who was sacrificed for no reason, wasn't that all the more regrettable? I don't know. Everything was my fault. Who would be the next to disappear? Would it be Shion and me next time? Uh, why? Why? Why weren't the culprits going for Shion and me right away, though? If they had enough power to erase the mayor and Rika-chan, then why not just get rid of Shion and me? If they went for us, well, I wouldn't like it, but I could still tolerate it. What I couldn't forgive was them getting rid of those we'd confessed to. Now that I think of it, yesterday, Shion said something alarming. She felt like someone was watching her. So, then, was somebody watching me as well? Strangely, though, I hadn't felt anything like that until now. Even though I'm the root cause of everything, I had never once had that impression. Maybe that was simply because Shion was more cautious than me, and I was just too careless. That's another story, though. Let's get back on track. Why weren't the culprits going after Shion and me? I felt like that's where the key to this lie. Could it be... Was I making a big assumption that I shouldn't have been? I thought and thought, but couldn't come up with an answer. The one thing I understood was that I was a concerned party to this case. That I had a duty to watch over it until everything got resolved. I heard the ring of the bell declaring the end of lunch break. Oh yeah, I'll talk more still about JoJo. I only watched up until, what was it, part 3? Or part 2, where Jotaro and Dio fight. Like, I only watched up to that point and I stopped. But I primarily only watched it for just to get like some of the references, but yeah. Would somebody else disappear tonight? If nobody else did, then I want to get. Then I wanted to. Then, if nobody else did, and I wanted them to get rid of me tonight for sure. Yes. And then put an end to all this. And it must be like a whiplash from me going to serious to me just joking around. I feel like I need to like choose one or the other. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Still want to talk to y'all, but it's like, I want to get y'all in that mood, get y'all in the tension and shit, you know? You feel? Shion's hysterical voice on the phone last night came back to mind. They planned to murder those close to us first, then make us as miserable as possible, and only then would they kill us. My Barakun, lunch break is over. Go back to the classroom. At the principal's urging, I returned to the classroom, which was quiet as the streets at night. Switching up seating position real fast. Hold up. Hit my mic. Whoops. Sorry. There were a lot of parents picking up their children after school. It was like a kindergarten. The students whose parents didn't come went home as a group. We left school with everyone else, following the assigned route. Even while leaving, nobody said anything funny. They all looked exhausted, they all looked like exhausted mountaineers, silently marching through the mountains. As we went, one left, and then another. And in the end, it was just Erdena and me. I was supposed to escort Erdena all the way to her house, but she declined. Will you be alright? It's not safe to go alone. It would just be as dangerous for you to go home by yourself after bringing me back, Kei-Ichikan. It's still light out anyway. I'll be fine. I see. Then, be careful, okay? Yeah. Huh? Isn't that a policeman? Erdena poured in towards my house. There's a car stopped in front of it. From out of the car came Oishi-san. He must have been waiting for my return to ambush me. Oishi-san started walking over wearing that annoying grin. Book it! Hightail it! Run! They're gonna get you! Then, you should go. If you get involved with him, you'll be here for hours. But what do the police want with you? With you? Then it's a good person. Even when I made a fuss over Rika-chan's disappearance, she never asked me why I did. She could have been suspecting me ever since then, and that would have been okay. Even so, she still hadn't asked me anything. She didn't try to pressure me into revealing the truth. I'm not the culprit. I know that. That said, I can't say that I'm totally uninvolved with this incident. Dennis simply listened, smiling like she always did. Even though I had insinuated I was related to the incident, she didn't look at me as though she were looking at something dirty. I'll tell you next time. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. Get going then. Then they gave me a slight bow and trotted away, leaving me alone with Oishi-san, who walked over. Hello, hello. Welcome home, Maebara-san. Hello. Looks like your parents aren't here. My, was I in a bit of a spot? Came all the way to my house? I could only thank my good fortune that my parents were absent. Since neither of them was around at this hour, they would probably be back late. I think Dad got called out on business. I don't think he'll be back until later. I see. Well, that's convenient, I suppose. We can do this without giving your parents any strange ideas. Oishi-san pushed my back, prompting me to walk. It seemed like he wanted me to get into the car. Ooh. Are you taking me to the police station? I wasn't the culprit, but I was the cause of everything. It wouldn't be weird if he wanted to investigate me. That kind of gave me a resigned feeling. No. I just don't want to stand around talking. We can just talk in the car, that's all. Come now, don't be shy. He opened the back door and urged me inside. If I got in, I wouldn't have a very easy time getting out. If I said no, however, then this man might really handcuff me and take me away. I couldn't refuse. I could only accept it in good grace. Wow. Damn, so basically what this is saying is all I need to do to grow my lolly army that I got in my basement is to become a police officer so they can't refuse me. Pretty good, pretty good. The inside of the car had been cooled too much by the air conditioner. There was a rusty smell coming from the filter, which must have been cleaned only rarely. Oh, is it too cold? I'll turn the car off. He turned off the engine and it suddenly became quiet. And the voices of the Higurashi, with all their cool loneliness, snuck inside. Higurashi means like evening cicada. For any of you who are curious. Yeah, I'm not making that. It sounded to me like a chorus of voices, lamenting my exorbitant punishment for having harbored such foolish curiosity. For a few moments, while listening to those voices, I myself lamented the days that had been twisted and distorted since that night. Oishi-san, as if waiting for me to voluntarily begin talking, lit a cigarette and listened to the Higurashi. The silence became deafening, and I was the only one who folded first. And I was the one who folded first, sorry. How's the investigation going? The investigation? Of what? There have been so many. Which do you mean? All of them. Well, alright then. They're officially secret investigations, and we're under a media blackout, but I'll let you in on them. Then we shall start from the first, shall we start from the first incident? The freak deaths of Tomitake-san and Takano-san on the night of Watanagashi. On this one, embarrassingly enough, we haven't made any progress at all. First of all, Tomitake-san. There are indications on his body that he was assaulted by a group of people, but we have no explanation for him clawing at his own throat and dying. We suspect an overdose from a stimulant or something, but we didn't detect anything. What about Takano-san? The same. We're in the dark. Autopsies for those who are burned to death are real tough. We believe she was doused in gasoline after she was strangled. That one falls under the Gifu Prefecture's police department. They haven't been very cooperative enough, or even though it happened in our territory. Oh, that's not really relevant though. So the police didn't know anything other than the fact that the victims died inexplicably? Nonetheless, the times when the incidents occurred have been generally placed right before or right after the festival ended. It's a bit uncertain in Takano-san's case, but the likely prospect is that she was murdered at about the same time as Tomitake-san, then dumped in the mountains in Gifu. Why would they bring a dead body all the way to the mountains? They should have just brought Tomitake-san out there too. Oh my, Maribata-san. You're quite sharp, you know that? Of course, I do believe that is something we need to be attentive of. There are a bunch of other suspicious things, but this is about all I can tell you at this point. How about the mayor? Have there been any clues? Having exhausted that topic, I changed the subject. Otherwise, he might turn the conversation on me. We investigated his movements on the day he disappeared. We didn't find anything that could provide any clues, but I'll tell you about it anyway. The mayor, Kiichiro Kimiyoshi. Apparently he was suffering from severe hemorrhoids. People who've lived a long time have an unusual amount of pride. So the mayor hadn't been telling anyone that he was going to a proctologist at a certain university hospital in Shishibon City. Sorry, just chewing on my lip. It's distracting. Sorry. On the day he disappeared, he had an appointment for a checkup, so he went out first thing in the morning. Even I knew that big hospitals, like university hospitals, had a really long waiting time. Apparently people who could get in line hours beforehand, even if they had an appointment. His exam ended at 1 p.m. After that, he ate a light meal in the hospital restaurant and passed the time reading a magazine. We know this because of a receipt we found in his wallet at his house. There was nothing suspicious at all about that. That day, he had planned to go to a meeting in the assembly hall in the evening. He was supposed to return home with plenty of time to spare, but while he was on the train coming back, there was an accident. Seems it delayed him a bit, and he was only back to his house right before the meeting was scheduled to start. His family witnessed a very hectic mayor leaving to go to the assembly hall at the shrine. Well, what was the meeting about? He disappeared on the way back home, right? The three families and the essential members of the town assembly were at the meeting. We think they were discussing how to deal with the serial freak death incidents that had happened again this year. So then, on his way home, the old man who had treated Shion like his own daughter. He was a dependable person who would encourage Shion whenever she felt pressured by anxiety, and yet Shion's painful voice struck me right in the heart. Huh? What's the matter? I was taken aback by how strange my own voice sounded. What was it that just surprised me? I squeezed my head with my hands to try and drag back out what I had only realized for a split second. Remember, Keiichi Maribata, you just realized something. Something important. The night of Watanagashi, that was when everything started. That night, Takano-san and Tomitake-san died. The next morning, word of the incident had spread throughout Hinamizawa. They planned to talk about it during the evening meeting. The mayor, however, had an appointment at the hospital, and as planned, he went there without telling his family. He got a checkup at the hospital. Ate something. And then there was an unexpected delay on his train ride back. When he returned, the meeting was already about to start. The mayor changed clothes, got on his bicycle, and hurried to the assembly hall at the shrine as fast as he could. From when he heard about the incident on the night of Watanagashi until he showed up at the assembly hall, everything he was doing that day was done in secret. During that time, nobody found out that he went to the hospital alone. He ate alone. And he got on the train alone. That all meant he had absolutely no contact with anyone else. He couldn't even have called him on his phone. Okay, but what does that mean, Keiichi Maebara? What does that... Why does that matter, Keiichi Maebara? Uh, Kei-chan, what should I do? What's wrong? Tell me. We're not keeping secrets from each other, right? I... Old man Kimiyoshi, I told him everything. I told him everything. I told old man Kimiyoshi everything. That night, I told the mayor that we snuck into the ritual storehouse. And also that someone saw us and was out to get us. Right. What then? Old man Kimiyoshi, he didn't get angry. He smiled and then told me that if I was properly sorry about it, then there was no way I'd be demoned away. He was really smiling, and he told me to leave it to him. Sweat burst out of my body like bullets. They became one long strand and slid down from my forehead to my nose, and fell. Let me look. Probably about 18, 19 hours. At the start of this, I had 17 and a half hours onto it. And I've been live for about an hour and a half. Just under. So then, what does it mean? Hey, Keiichi Maebara, no more playing dumb. When did she tell him? Oh. When did she? Shion said she learned of the incident from a phone call her father had made that morning. The mayor had left the house first thing in the morning for his appointment at the hospital. We're probably getting closer to the end. I don't know. Because it's been so long since I watched the anime that my memory on it is like... I barely remember, like... I remember, like, big things that had happened, but... I don't remember a whole lot. So I don't... Generally, I think that the Wataru Nagashi is usually closer to the middle or like the end. At least that's how the first game was. But this time, not sure. So, for all I know, I could have another like 10 hours. Or it could end in, like, by the end of the stream. I have no idea. But I want to say closer to the end than the beginning. So, yeah. Shion had said she had learned of the incident from a phone call her father had made that morning. The mayor had left the house first thing in the morning for his appointment at the hospital. He didn't tell anybody where he was going. Nobody knew about him going to the university hospital. Furthermore, his train ride back to his house was delayed by an accident. As soon as he got home, he rushed out to the assembly hall. Then the meeting at the assembly hall began, and continued until it was dark out. Then everyone left. Nobody saw him after the meeting was over. He just disappeared. Which meant Maebara-san, are you alright? If you're too hot, I can turn on the air conditioner. Another part of me was messing with my thoughts, demanding that I not think any further than that. My head was pounding violently, and the fluids packed inside it, all blending together until nothing made sense. It was just about to settle, yet it had been smashed and melted in the blink of an eye, no longer able to retain its shape. My Barasan? Are you in there? Uh, yeah. Why she lit yet another cigarette. There was yet another cigarette butt placed in the ashtray. Was it displaying the passage of time? Had my thoughts been frozen over for that long? I've tried to tell you everything I know. In return, feel free to tell me anything you want, Mayabara-san. My mind had become a gigantic, oozing mess. My brain felt like it had been totally minced by the blades of a blender, and I couldn't think. Now, don't clam up again. If there are any misunderstandings, I'd like to clear them up first. I don't think you're the culprit here or anything. Oishi gave his best attempts at an adult smile. I know the four of you snuck into the ritual storehouse that night. Everyone in the village heard rumors about it by the next day. That in of itself means that we should take you in for trespassing, but that isn't the problem. It's what was inside. What was inside that made the people who snuck in there end up as sacrifices? There wasn't anything. As soon as I said it, I regretted confirming my presence there. But I knew it didn't matter anymore. Was there really nothing in there? I mean, everyone who went in is being sacrificed by one, you know? Even the mayor, Narika-san, who switched the lock on the door, were sacrificed. What was inside that could have caused such terrible things to happen? I was far too tired to keep quiet about this. Perhaps that was Oishi's goal all along, but again, that didn't matter anymore. There were just a lot of torture devices that were used a long time ago. I looked around at them with everyone. Was that really all? That was really all. There was nothing terrible in there that would make you keep silent. Like a pile of psychoactive drugs. Maybe a secret poppy workshop. Perhaps there were mountains of Soviet or Chinese handguns. There weren't any suspicious wooden boxes or containers packed in there. There was nothing as exaggerated as what Oishi-san was hoping for, but I felt like in a way there were plenty of terrible things hidden in there. From the perspective of someone who viewed the storehouse as sacred, whether or not I thought I had seen some crazy things didn't matter in the slightest. The four of us broke the taboo. Punish us. That's what should have been. That should have been what happened. We put in a request for a search warrant, thinking there might have been some secrets hidden in that storehouse. It's been the sabotage of the century. They said it would be an insult to religious figures and something about the right to free religion in the Constitution. Ah, jeez. That's why I really didn't have any other recourse but to ask you, since you went in there. There really was just old, rusty, dusty torture equipment. Nothing stood out. Then Tomitake-san and Takane-san were only killed as punishment for having broken the taboo? I didn't have an answer for the only part. I suppose I won't bother hiding it anymore. You're the only one to escape harm so far. Everyone but you has disappeared, and yet you alone are safe. Wait. What happened to Shion? What's the difference between you and them that would protect you, but bring harm to the others? See ya. That's what I want to know. There was something wrong with what Oishi-san was saying. You alone. You alone. What? Wait a second. What do you mean by you alone? I'm saying that you alone have been left alive, right? Out of the 4 people who tiptoed into the storehouse for ritual implements, I mean, the only one left alive? Hold on. Shion was still... Jiro Tomatake and Mio Takano-san died that night, and Shion Sonozaki disappeared the next day. Wait! The next day? Only you are still safe and sound at this point. Why only you? I'm saying that's why I want to know. Or that's what I want to know. But Shion disappeared? That's impossible! I unintentionally raised my voice, but I didn't care about that. Tomitaki-san died. Takano-san died. And Shion disappeared? When did she disappear? What is this guy talking about? Oh, well now. I thought you were long since aware of this. This is the first I've heard of it. Shion disappeared? When? Well, going back a bit, she disappeared the day after Watanagashi. Going back a bit? Stop saying stuff I don't understand. Shion Sonozaki spends the night at a relative's house depending on her mood at any given day. So no one thought much of not knowing where she was. She frequently takes days off from school, too. Her teacher has been pretty troubled by it. I didn't ask about any of that. I'm asking about when Shion disappeared. I told you it was the day after Watanagashi. The fluids in my body all reversed direction. I lost my sense of balance, and everything I could see started to warp and twist out of shape. I simply couldn't endure it. Hang on. Hang on. Shion had already disappeared? Then... That night. That call. That phone call. Who was that? She called me every night. She encouraged me. We vowed that we would do our best to live on and not be erased. Yeah. That should have been a phone call with Shion. Should have been a phone call with Shion. Should have been a phone call with Shion. She took breaks from class like it was nothing, and her family wouldn't listen when I told them. So I didn't bother calling the school in the end. So it ended up taking quite a while before we realized she disappeared. I felt a stabbing pain like needles were being pushed into every pore of my body. It started on my back. It began spreading throughout the rest of me. When it had completely covered the surface of my skin, it began to worm its way inside my stomach as well. Don't you remember? We talked at the library the day after Watanagashi. Shion was there then. That was the last we saw of her. No one knows where she's been since. That can't be. That day, Oishi-san had only caught me, and Shion bounded away, lying that she needed to go to work. Didn't she call me that night? Her job was at a restaurant called Angel More, right? She hasn't... Oh, wait. Her job was at a restaurant called Angel More, right? She hasn't been there since that day. She's been completely absent ever since. The person at the restaurant couldn't get in touch with her. He was really worried. That can't be. It can't be. Hold on, I need to take a drink. It's only circumstantial evidence, but after she left us at the library, but before she had made it to work, I think it's appropriate to consider her having disappeared during that time. Right after Shion ran away without me? Seems that you didn't know. Maybe if you had said something earlier, this would have gone more quickly. Now you understand, right? You're the only one left. You're the only survivor of the four who slipped into the ritual storehouse. It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. If something else happens, it would happen to you. I need you to understand that, Mayabata-san. It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. Shion has already disappeared? That couldn't be. It couldn't be. I talked to her the day before yesterday. I talked to her last night. She was going to call me again today. That was Shion on the phone. Shion on the phone. It was Shion. It was from Shion. Shion had long since disappeared. Next will be you. Then, who was on the phone those past nights? Who was on the phone those past nights? Who was on the phone those past nights? This can't be! Ooh. Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay, okay. Oh, it's getting interesting. So wait, if she did disappear... Ah, my hair. If she did disappear the day after, then who the fuck has been calling us, huh? Huh? Is my... What? Oh, my theory's got some ground now, bitch! My theory's got some ground now, bitch! Although, wait. No? No, no, okay, no, never mind, hold on. My theory was that Shion was acting as Mion, but because of the stuff that had happened before. Huh. Hold up, okay. Need to think. I know I should probably just let it play out and, like, we learn, or just have shit more happen, but, like, kind of confused. So okay. Assume my theory is correct, that the day after Watanagashi, she had showed up to school posing as Mion. But why? That was still something I don't have a theory, like a answer for in my theory. It's just a theory that that's what she did. And then after school, we had gone to the library with Shion, I think. Fuck. This is the downside of having a poor ass memory and it being such a minute since, like, we played. And, like, specifically this part that I'm trying to think back to. Fuck. But then... But then who was calling us? The only idea I've got two ideas. Some ghost shit is happening with Shion. And that's how she was calling us or something, like from beyond. Somehow, without realizing that's what she was doing. Like herself. Or was it Mion calling us posing as Shion? But why? How? How would she have known? No? How would she have known all the... Huh? Huh. Okay, before I melt my brain too hard, let's just continue. Fucking hell. I don't have the brain to be a fucking detective. Fucking hell. Okay. Whatever. We'll see when we get there. Who knows? Or fuck, who knows if we find... Ah, fuck. Hit this mic stand. Whoops. Anyway, let's continue, I guess. I lay down on the couch and stayed there dazed for a while. My mind was completely blank. I couldn't think about anything for more than a few seconds. There was a note in my house saying that Mom and Dad would be home late, that I should have some ramen or something for dinner. I could make it whenever I got hungry, but I had no appetite. I just stared blankly at the ceiling without eating anything. The hands of the clock were already pointing at 10. Would I get another phone call like that today? Even though Shion had already disappeared? Oh, would she still call me? Where were they calling from, and to who were they? The more I thought about it, the more I started to tremble. Even though I thought, I even thought about just disconnecting the phone line. If I had been thinking a little less logically, I really would have done it too. Hold on, Keiichi Maebara. Oishi-san has admitted it hit... Fuck, hiccups. Oh, fuck yawn. Okay. Oishi-san admitted it himself, didn't he? That Shion went missing a lot. Couldn't she have just gone to relatives that Oishi-san didn't know about and have been there ever since? Shion and I were both being targeted by somebody. So it wouldn't have been strange to think she went somewhere she usually didn't in order to hide. Yeah, that must have been why Oishi-san couldn't locate her, and why he labeled her as a disappearance. Yeah, that's gotta be it. That's gotta be it. Shion hadn't disappeared at all. Then my right hand moved of its own volition and slapped me on the cheek. Its cold sting let me calm down a little. Don't just convince yourself of the most convenient possibility, Keiichi Maebara. I knew it. I didn't want to admit she had disappeared. Admitting it would really mean that something terrifying was definitely happening. I just needed to figure out whether Shion was the one who on the phone or not. Would I ask if she was actually Shion? That seemed like an incredibly absurd thing to do. Still, don't run from this, Keiichi. If the person on the other end still believed that I thought she was Shion, then that would give me a tiny advantage. Casually, completely casually, I would listen to what she had to say. And Fend, her off. Okay, okay. I would tear the skin off the monster. I would definitely be. It would definitely be really scary for me. However, as the last survivor of the people who went into the storehouse that night, this was my only duty to perform. Still, then who would call me and pretend to be Shion? I may have only heard her over the phone, but her voice shouldn't be that easy to replicate. That was definitely Shion's voice. It sounded just like her. It could have only been Shion. There was someone, though, wasn't there? Someone who sounded just like Shion. Mion. Oh! Mion. Who else could have done this? At this point, seriously, after all this time, all those little things that didn't quite make sense about Mion up until now overwhelmed my mind. Like being questioned about sneaking into the ritual storehouse, and how she shook the ladder while spouting curses. Who else? Who else could have? Why though? Why would Mion? I thought back to the things about the Sonozaki family that I had heard from Oishi-san and Shion. Mion was always entangled in the incidents, in a position where she was omnipotent. Some of that information included things that Shion had told me after she disappeared. I madly scratched at my head. Huh. True. Courage. Give me the courage. I need it. Just a little bit of courage to pick up the phone. I know it will ring tonight. It would be so easy to run away. That, though, would be the same as making it easy for them to erase me. I cannot run. Here, hold on. Just adjusting my chair real fast. I cannot run. I must stand and face it. After all, the next sacrifice would definitely be me. I was sure Shion would use tricky words to try and trap me. Be careful. Be careful. I'm so scared, though. I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. At that point, it rang. The phone rang. I didn't know where the call was coming from. Shion had disappeared. Disappeared a long time ago. Disappeared the night after Watanagashi. Yet, until today, she'd been calling me like nothing happened. Now again tonight. The people that had disappeared. The corpses simply hadn't been found. I really didn't think they were alive. So if it really was Shion on the other end, then did that mean she was calling me from another world? Of course that couldn't be. A living being was calling me, pretending to be Shion. Shion was long gone, and yet, as though she were alive and well, the phone continued its incessant ringing. I didn't want to pick it up if I didn't have to. I had just concluded, though, that not doing so wouldn't solve anything. Then, what would I do after I answered it? Would I immediately declare that she wasn't Shion and ask who she was? Alternatively, would I pretend I was still fooled and try to grab her by the tail, that would probably be the safest thing to do. Oh. What I was most afraid of was the person on the phone. What I was most afraid of was that the other person on the phone would do when she realized I knew she wasn't Shion. However, as long as I continued to let her think I was fooled, she wouldn't do anything extreme, right? I just make sure to be careful. That should be the safest option. I've made up my mind. I'll answer the phone. Once I do that, I'll talk to her as if nothing happened. That wasn't all I'd do this time, though. Okay, hold on. I'd scope her out. Who she was, or who was she? What was she thinking, and what was she after? Why was she doing this? Was she really the only one? Wait, was she really the one who killed Tomitaki-san and Takano-san? Fucking pick it up! Oh my god, it's annoying me. What happened to the mayor? What happened to Rika and Satoko? I reached out for the receiver, my arm trembling. There were too many things I wanted to know. Too many things I wanted to ask. I was scared. I should start by picking up the phone. Pick it up, Keiichi. Pick it up, Keiichi. Hello? Oh, how relieved I would have been if it hadn't been a call from Shion. Ah, Kei-chan? It's me. It's Shion. My momentary convenient and, above all, fleeting prediction was ripped into 1,000 pieces. I couldn't help shaking at that point. Get ready for this. It took a long time to pick up. I thought you weren't home. I was about to hang up. Sorry. I was just in the bath. Did your family not pick up for you? Could your parents be out right now, Kei-chan? I failed. I let her in on a fatal piece of information. That I was currently the only one at my house. Yeah. Well, no. They're not really... anyway. Have you heard? About Rika and Satoko? No. What happened after that? Were they found? Nah. They weren't found. Kei-chan, please don't lose hope. If Oishi-san hadn't let me know, then I might have allowed myself to shed a tear or two at Shion's considerate words. Instead, now that it had come to this, I couldn't take her words at face value. This person on the other end of the receiver, the more perfect the Shion they were, the more my blood curdled in fear. Rika-chan and Satoko-chan, they were kidnapped, weren't they? Yes. I don't think there's much doubt. Just how cruel and grave a meaning did those words hold? Their weight astonished me. And then a moment later, I was overcome with numbness, and I felt like I would pass out. I had asked if Rika-chan and Satoko had been kidnapped. Shion, in turn, had answered that there wasn't much about it. That cruel meaning behind her words. Rika-chan and Satoko were... no, I mean... I'm sorry. About the mayor, what do you think happened after he was kidnapped? Do you think he's still alive? What happened to Rika-chan and Satoko after they were kidnapped? That was what I wanted to ask, but I frantically caught myself. What if she had given that question a terrifying response? In such a way to sound like it had nothing to do with her. I was scared of that, so I immediately brought up the mayor. That said, however, however much I talked about the mayor, I think he was killed. Hey, wait, that was quick. I think it must be really hard to kidnap someone and keep them like they are. As long as they're not hostages, it'd be most practical to kill them once they were done with them. Okay. The world started to bend so much I almost lost my balance. The scenery in my eyes whirled around and around, like the hands of a clock, and tried to swallow me whole from below. I frantically put a hand on the wall to support myself. A moment later, a severe nausea welled up within me. How was she saying such things so lightly? Killed him so readily. I mean, what's a human life or two anyway? What's this music? It's a horrible thing, but I think that's what probably happened. If the mayor was killed, then did that mean the same had happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? No, that couldn't have... they weren't just some random old man. It was Rika-chan. It was Satoko. They couldn't kill them so readily. It's probably better to think that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan ended up the same way. Ah! Those were the words I wanted to hear the least, and I fought them back with a scream of my own. Even though it wouldn't change anything, still, I still couldn't help but scream. This time the tears flowed. Oh shit, I shouldn't be laughing, I should keep with it, but sorry, too funny. I've been confronted with the most horrific outcome that I've been trying to avoid considering ever since last night. And I cried. There was no longer any doubt that it was my fault. I killed them. Yeah, it's probably a good fresh breath of fresh air, but yeah. Get Reed settled back in. Yeah, let's go. I killed them. I killed Rika-chan and Satoko. I succumbed to the weakness of my own heart and confessed everything to Rika-chan. That's why they were killed. That meant I killed them. When Rika-chan looked at me with those innocent eyes. If only I hadn't given in. Even my voice gave out, and yet still I cried. And cried. Kei-chan, please just try and calm down. Rika-chan and Satoko, they've been killed. We couldn't even find their remains. I would have never been allowed to apologize to their faces. If that's to be my punishment, then fucking brutal punishment of what is that? I think Shion tried to comfort me, but I didn't hear any of it. What are you going to do to gain by doing that? They're definitely going to target you and me next. Please, I'm asking you, get a hold of yourself. Please. Please. Shion was shouting, imploring me with a voice that sounded like tears were in her eyes. However, I was coming to hate the sound of that voice more and more. This Shion killed them. I had no doubts that this person killed them. Why? 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 Why kidnap someone and then kill them? Screw curses. Are people's lives really that cheap? Erasing them and killing them without a second thought like this? You're right. You're absolutely right. It would take a demon. I felt like crushing the receiver in my hand. How long did this person plan on acting like someone else's problem? There was magma in the pit of my stomach, and it felt like I was going to erupt at any moment. Hey, Shion? Please tell me, why did Hinamizawa start needing someone to die on the night of Watanagashi? That's what I'd like to know. The fighting of the dam project is already over and done with. Haven't enough people been cursed already? Why is it? Why? If there's a reason, then say it now! I was incoherent at this point. My emotions had been broken through the dam inside me, rushing forth, and I couldn't stop them. There were not simple questions. This was an interrogation. Shion herself hadn't realized it yet. It was just too funny. It was so funny that I couldn't stop crying. I understand how you feel, Kei-chan. I really do. The damn wars ended a long time ago, yet murders and disappearances keep happening every year under the guise of the Oyashiro-sama's curse. Why? Why is it happening? Some of them had nothing to do with this, and some of them didn't deserve to be cursed, so why? Why? That's what I'm asking you! I want to know as much as anyone! Both of our ragged breaths could be heard over the phone. Listen, Oyashiro-sama's curse never existed. It's too unrealistic. Just like you said, someone in the village is using the grand name of Oyashiro-sama's curse as a justification for continuing these murders and disappearance every Watanagashi. They were cunning. They've been using the curse as a convenient tool and made a system where they would get rid of 2 enemies in the village every year. And this year, that system killed Takano-san and Tomitake-san. Then why wasn't that enough? Why would the mayor, Rika-chan, and Satoko have to get killed too? I don't give a shit about the past! The only thing I care about is why Rika-chan and Satoko needed to be killed. Why? I didn't say a word to Satoko-chan, you know? Why even her? Why? A silence fell between us. Shion didn't answer for a while. Kei-chan, please, stop being mean. A sob. Was Shion crying? I don't have any idea what's going on either. Everything's changed. When we went into the ritual storehouse that night, it was the same for me. As I listened to Shion's bitter weeping, I could feel my agitation subsiding. When I heard that Takana-san and Tomitaka-san had been killed that night, I doubted my ears. Then I realized it instantly. I realized what sort of position I was in now. The four of us snuck in there. Kei-chan, you and I won't be so conveniently forgiven. When I thought about that, it made my chest so tight. It was so terrifying. You know that feeling, Kei-chan, don't you? There was nothing fake about her words. She even understood how I felt. That was why I confessed everything to Old Man Kimiyoshi. All of us entered the forbidden storehouse. It was just a little bit of fun. We knew we shouldn't have done it, but it really had been just for fun. It was only for a bit of exploration. That was all. Takana-san and Tomitake-san, who went in with us, were killed shortly afterward. They met such miserable ends. Since that day, I've been living in fear of when I would be attacked. There was nobody except Old Man Kimiyoshi who would help me. So I asked him to save me. Old Man Kimiyoshi, he wasn't mad. He smiled. If you're really sorry, Shion-chan, then you'd never be demoned away. He really did smile at me and told me to leave it to him. Shion cried bitterly, recalling the beloved mayor's death. It was such a sad voice that none who heard it could prevent it from twisting their hearts. Again, did I let my emotions take over and go off at her? Shion was in the same situation as me. She should have been my one and only comrade. Thump. My heart pounded. My other self, deep within my mind, whispered to me, "Don't forget, Keiichi Marabata. Don't forget the mayor on the morning of Watanagashi. He was told of Takano-san and Tomitake-san's deaths over the phone and committed to a meeting that evening. He went to a hospital appointment. He didn't tell his family. He only made it back just in time for the meeting. He went straight to the assembly hall. That's what Oishi-san said. When did you let the mayor know? Huh? I'm sorry, Shion. It must seem like I'm kicking you while you're down, but Shion, you told him, right? You told Old Man Kimiyoshi, the mayor. Yes? When did you let him know? Huh? I had begun to get scared of saying it aloud after hearing her sad voice. I wasn't saying it was contradictory, though. Besides, if there was a contradiction, then I wanted Shion to explain it to me. Did you know that the mayor had a severe case of hemorrhoids and had gone to the hospital for treatment? Kei-chan? What does it have to do? Please answer me. If you don't know, then just say so. There was a momentary silence. Then, after stammering a few times, she replied, I knew that. He had hemorrhoids. It, it looked like sitting down was really hard for him. He was going to the hospital. You know which hospital, right? Uh, I'm sorry, I don't know much about that, but... Kei-chan, what does this have to do with... Shion didn't know what hospital the mayor went to. That meant it was impossible for her to have gone all the way to the hospital to confess everything. Since she didn't know his destination, then she obviously couldn't have seen him on the train either. If there was any other chance for her to contact him, it would have been after he came to Hinamizawa. The train, however, had been delayed, and he only got back right before the meeting was about to start. He didn't have time. There wouldn't have been enough time for him to listen to Shion spill the beans. I want to ask you straight, Shion. When did you tell the mayor about everything? When and where? Your answer doesn't have to be precise, but please, give me one. Kei-chan, why are you asking me that? Her sob pierced into my ears. I was taken by the illusion that I was bullying her. Even so, I'll say it. If I'm wrong, then please correct me. Please prove to me that you're the real Shion. It was impossible. The day the mayor disappeared, from dawn until he vanished, there was no opportunity for you to contact him. That's... The mayor first thing in the morning for his examination at the university hospital all by himself, without telling anyone. Shion, you just said you don't know what hospital he went to. So you could have just contacted the mayor until he got back. Or you couldn't have. Isn't that right? His train back was delayed by an accident, and he didn't return to his house until the meeting was about to start. So there was no time for you to have told him before the meeting started either. I heard Shion repeating her weak sobs. That sort of feminine voice automatically ripped into my heart. It was so painful for me to say it. Shion, did you go to the meeting too? Did you attend it and tell him there? If you didn't, then there wouldn't have been any time left. After the meeting was over, the mayor disappeared on his way home. Shion went to the meeting, didn't she? Did she or didn't she? The question was so simple to answer, but she didn't give me an immediate response. Actually, with the meeting, You didn't even go to the part-time job you said you went to that day. I'll say it more directly. You haven't been seen since we were at the library together. Kei-chan, Shion Sonozaki disappeared the day after Watanagashi. The other end fell silent as the grave. It was so quiet that it was like the phone cord had been cut. I couldn't sense anyone there. Oishi-san says you've been missing. Despite that, you've been calling me every night like this, haven't you? Shion's sobs were torturing me. Still, I'm pretty sure I haven't said anything wrong. Please, Shion. If something I said was wrong, please say so. Shion, I'm begging you. Shion, there's no way you could have seen the mayor, but if you did see him, if Shion ever did have the chance to meet with the mayor on that day, then that meant then you saw him after the meeting. In other words, it could have been right before he disappeared or else afterward. Fuck, I went lightheaded. Holy hell. Fuck, hold on. I legit went fucking lightheaded with that. Holy fuck. I'm like fucking shaking. Beep, beep, went the dial tone. I stood there dazed for a while until I realized she had hung up on me. Damn! Oh, okay. Why right? Oh, thank you. Dedicated to reading it, damn. Hell yeah. Always, always. I gotta get good at the acting, you know? I gotta try my best to get on par with the sub, you know? It's like, no joke, the fucking like sub, like the laugh in the anime. Hold on, I wanna see, actually, you know what? Fuck it, hold on. Just in case it clicks me out of the game, I'm gonna save right here. Also, I need to like give myself a second because I am legit full ass shaking right now. Hold on. Go to YouTube, see if I can find. Let's see if I can find any clips. Alright. Here we go. Y'all can just listen to like some of the laughing. Yeah, I feel like I did a pretty okay job. So, yeah. Oh, okay. Also, it's starting to get pretty warm in my room right now, too. Oh. Got a cold... Actually, no, it's more like I got a fucking cold sweat right now, if anything. Oh, okay. Let me take a bite of some food real fast. I need sustenance. Oh. All right. Well, probably, let's see. Where are we at? 2 hours, 20 minutes? Let's see. I need to see if something is going to. Oh, shit. Uh, yeah, I may. Hold on, let's see. I got D&D tonight, and so I'm making sure right now that the time, because it's debating right now if we need to start early, late, or just canceling it tonight. So let's see. What time did they just say? So I'm needing to debate if I can go for another chapter or not, or if I need to end it after the tips real fast. Let's see. All right. So I'm gonna ask them if that's what we're doing, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the tips real fast. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I get cold sweats quite often. It's just like my room is warm, and I also got to keep in mind I constantly have a hoodie, and I keep myself wrapped up in a blanket. So yeah, it's physically warm, but like I get cold sweats a lot. So yeah. All right. Scrapbook. What? 9 or 11? Well, one of the two. I can never remember which side on it is. Oh, I fucking love it. I've been wanting to play for years, and I finally got to join a campaign like last year, and so I'm still on my first campaign, but I am fucking loving it. Um, yeah, I would have loved to have like been streaming it, like our sessions, but there's a couple people that wasn't comfortable with that, so I couldn't. Maybe in the future sometime eventually, but probably not. But yeah. Anyways, the problem with twins. This is not limited to just Hinamizawa, but in Onikafuchi village especially, the three families detested giving birth to twins as successors. The long-term dictatorship built on... Fuck hiccups. The long-term dictatorship built up on the precarious balance of the three families must have feared collapsing under the weight of internal strife from things like family quarrels. According to the literature, if twins were born, then they had to be cold. With that, the very fact that both the Sonozaki family successors, Mion Sonozaki and her twin Shion, are alive, it is in itself deeply interesting. Perhaps the current leader, Odio, is sympathetic? Of course, the twins were not cared for equally, and as the heir, Mion received special treatment. From what I've heard, despite the two of them looking exactly the same on the outside, the talent lies solely within Mion. My own observations of the two of them don't leave me with that impression. Tradition dictates that the leader of the Sonozaki family is said to inherit a demon, and they tattoo a magnificent one onto his or her back. In accordance with the tradition, there is an extremely high possibility that Mion has such a tattoo on her back. From what I've heard, there is apparently a magnificent demon tattooed on Orio's back as well. Then, I wonder what sort of tattoo belongs to the heir Mion. I really want to see her back. Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, for me, I completely understand it and respect that. For me, like, I mean, I'm gonna be straight up, like, I did not think in 1,000 years I would be streaming, like at all. I was like, oh, it sounds like a really cool thing to be doing and all that stuff. Like, just ask Ethan. Like, he was like, oh, he tried to get me into it, like, when he first started. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably never gonna do that. And then, look where I am. It started off as just like streaming my IGL matches for when they weren't casted, so people could still watch. And then from there, it was just like, yeah, why the fuck not? I mean, basically nobody watched anyway, so it wasn't too bad of a thing. So like it, I think it's just like as long as it builds up over time, I can get more and more used to it. And I mean, I personally I don't mind like talking to people and all that stuff like online and all that. It's just for me, I just absolutely hate my voice. It is so deep and disgusting, and I know my pronunciation and shit could be probably a lot better as well. But so I absolutely detest it. But like now, like after I started like doing it really consistently, I have just fallen in love with it so much. And it's just like, yeah. Not only is it like I find it so much fun and I love to do it, two, it's like I get to play like a lot of games that I normally wouldn't play or that I would drop rather quickly because that was a big struggle with me is like even if I were to get into a different game, I just ended up just dropping it out of nowhere. But yeah, and then after that it's like, and then like the third and final reason is hope to make it a job that I can like do for a living. But yeah, really don't mind your voice. Sounds pretty. Yeah, I appreciate that, but it's gonna be a hard disagree, my guy. Like, I can try my best to do like acting and shit, and like try my best to pronunciate shit, but given uh, dyslexia and stuttered problems and yeah, it's a whole mess, and then it's just like the entire fact that I just don't like how deep my voice is. It's too fucking masculine. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah, it's not even that though. It's just the simple fact of that. If people hear my voice, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a guy." It's like, no, fuck, god damn it. It's literally the only tell I still have left, and it just sucks. But yeah. Anyways, reserved for the day, Suzu's Mahjong parlor. Clatter clap. Hey, Yakura-chan, you're the best one here. All the youngsters here are here already. Excuse me, miss. Oishi handed over a convenience store bag with a carton of cigarettes in it, and the old lady who owned the Mahjong parlor. Oh, fuck. Oishi handed over a convenience store bag with a carton of cigarettes in it to the old lady who owned the Mahjong parlor, and she shrewdly made herself scarce. She was used to this by now. Yeah, they're just expensive. And then it's like, I used to have like some like not acting, voice lessons, like vocal lessons. Uh, and it's just the same problem I just have with in general is there's like a lot of practicing on my own that I had to do. And I am very bad at keeping myself to stuff, like with studying, like primarily studying, practicing stuff. Take Japanese. I've been trying to teach myself Japanese for like what, fucking 5, 6 years now, and yeah, I've already talked about it before, but it, I cannot hold even the simplest conversation. Like, I like, I know like probably a good handful, like a good number of words, but like, yeah. Oishi-san, good work today. What? Were y'all earnestly waiting for me? You could have just done three player. Everyone sitting at the mahjong table in the small parlor were Oishi's subordinates, but there were no titles or tiles laid out anywhere. Everyone, I'd like to thank you for your days of investigation without sleep. Thank you. Energetic responses filled the parlor. Already it had lost the atmosphere of a place of entertainment. The situation is not looking good. The chief appears to have backed down due to Congressman Sonizaki's threats. Yeah, yeah. It's just how it goes. Low-key kind of one of the reasons I became a V streamer was so that like I had at least like, you know, the girl character to like let people know. But yeah, I mean I did have it in my bio that I was trans, but I took it out for like character-wise for the V stream. But you know, little immersion break there, but you know. In the coming days, we'll hand off Takano's murder to the Gifu police and give the missing persons case to the disappearance of the mayor and the others to the community division. That damn upstart chief. The veterans in this room cursed him. All of our requests for warrants were turned down as well. I've even been told by our section chief not to go anywhere near the Sonozaki house. We're certainly in the bind that we are. Incidentally, it looks like I'll be getting orders soon to go to training at the Metropolitan Police Department starting next week. After that, I've been told to take a paid vacation to Izu. Well, I suppose that ain't too bad. He heard a few dry laughs. It wasn't anything to laugh about, but that was all they could do. This always happens, but incidents are a lot like locking your keys in the car. The keys you need to unlock the door are always locked inside. For cars, you call JAF, and they'll pry open your door. For incidents, Kuma-chan, show the map. Kumatani flipped over the whiteboard. On the back was a map of the Sonozaki premise made with magnets. Now, I've been doing this job for a long time. I've got a lot of faith in my gut, but this could be the one time I was wrong, no? Hold on. Just real fast. Wait, did I click yet? Did it register? Now I've been doing this for a long time. I've got a lot of faith in my gut, but this could be one of the times I was wrong, no? Okay, I already did. Anyone worried about their retirement money has until the count of 10 to get out of here. Or she began to count to 10, and everyone counted along with them. It was their famous 10 count resolution. 9, 10. Ah, no one's leaving. None of you love your families too much. Is that it? Everyone laughed uproariously, cheering things up. I want everyone to go over their materials. Memorize the locations and blind spots of all the security cameras. Kuma-chan, you'll stand by in the command car. If something happens, you'll switch with me and take over. Kamiyama-kun will head up infiltration team A. Atsushi-kun will lead team B. Observation teams will set up at points 1 through 8. Bonchi-kun, you're responsible for keeping a strict timetable. Control your rotation so HQ doesn't get wise. Now, the team on standby has the most important job, alright? If the section chief asks where I am, play dumb. I'll handle escorting our guests. I'll probably take them to the venue, so wait patiently, everyone. Wonderfield Cave. Keiichi Marabata, that is. From what I've seen, we're set for tomorrow or the day after in that regard. It'll be easy. Alrighty. Achievement unlocked. Detective Watanagashi. Cool, cool. Alright. Well, let's see. Did I already do... Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and do the save, just in case if there's a difference between saving before or after reading the stuff. I don't think there is, but just in case. But yeah, so let's see. As I like to cut it off, preferably when the chapters end, I'm going to go ahead and end it here for today's stream. Primarily because D&D's earlier tonight because the DM's got stuff, but yeah. So I should be streaming tomorrow. Although I will say I am thinking about like messing around with my schedule because I am kind of wanting to do Minecraft more often. So I'm thinking about how I want to do that. My first idea that I've got is in the morning streams, I'll switch between visual novels between Clannad and Higurashi, and then in the evening, this like the time this stream was, I'd be doing Minecraft, but at the same time, I'm still messing with it. Still got stuff to figure out, but I mean, hey, go ahead, hit the follow button, and you'll know when I'm live. Or hey, join my Discord. You feel, and you can also get notified through that as well when I go live. So, either way. But yeah, I hope y'all mofocus have a good day. I hope this was enjoyable. I hope y'all got some spooks. But yeah, thank you for coming out and watching and sticking through. I hope to see y'all in the future.